Hello everybody, it's Foo here, and today we're doing another experiment video looking at Comfey, a really cool new Pokemon with the ability Triage. Now this ability is the focus of today's experiment. What it does is it gives healing moves +3 priority, which basically means they're super fast and go before most other moves, even other priority moves. So what I'm going to do today is look at which moves are affected by Triage, and then in my follow-up video coming soon, I'm going to be looking at what conditions might stop Triage from working, so keep an eye out for that. Now this video is going to involve quite a lot of setup, so I'll try and speed through those bits so you don't have to watch it, basically skill swapping Triage to loads of different Pokemon so they can use their different moves. So I will just get this set up now and we will see you in the battle. Okay, so as everything's being sent out, what I'm going to do first is test some Comfey's own moves. A lot of people already know Comfey's moves which aren't affected, but I will show them first. And we've got our comparator because Kecleon is going to be using Shadow Sneak. Now if Triage affects the move, then the move will go before Shadow Sneak from Kecleon, but if it's not affected, then Kecleon's Shadow Sneak will be the first move. So let's get into this. First off, I'm just going to show Synthesis with Comfey because that's a very basic healing move that will heal itself, and whether that is affected by Triage, which obviously it should be because it's just a directly healing move. So I'll go for that, and I'll just go for some random moves with my other things. So we'll go for a Shadow Sneak so we can see that. So Synthesis goes first, so Shadow Sneak does not go first. Synthesis out-prioritizes it. Basically, what that means, whoa my god, that did way too much damage to my Delibird, I can't let it take that much damage. Basically, what that means is Synthesis was affected by Triage and it got loads of extra priority, more than even the Shadow Sneak, so that's cool. Now what we're going to do next is try out something else. So what I'm going to do with my Comfey, what I want to try and do is try a status healing move. So it's got aromatherapy. I'm going to go for the aromatherapy to see if that is also affected by Triage, because it's healing, but it's not healing health, it's healing the status. Okay, so and we'll go for another Shadow Sneak. We'll go for another Gravity because we don't really want to be doing anything else at the moment, and we'll just go for a Present. Oh frick, did I just... No, I thought I Shadow Sneaked my Delibird. So anyway, Cresselia can take those way better, even though they're super effective. But you saw that Shadow Sneak actually went before aromatherapy. So aromatherapy does not get affected by Triage, which is quite interesting. So it looks like maybe only HP healing moves are affected. So we'll go for another one of these. Now, I've got Grassy Terrain here, which is a really interesting move because it sets up the grassy terrain, which then heals Pokemon, but it doesn't directly heal Pokemon. So I'm going to set up grassy terrain with my Comfey and see how that works. And we're just going to go for, again, another Gravity, another Shadow Sneak, and another Present. I'm hoping to get a healing Present because that would really help out my Cresselia there. So we'll see how this works. So the Shadow Sneak is actually going first again, so we can see there that the grassy terrain is not going to be prioritized by the Triage either. So far it looks like it's only directly healing moves. So here's going to be the Present. Is it going to be a healing one? No, that Delibird is being... Oh wait, no, yeah. So that Delibird was just being really, really mean to my Cresselia. And because of the gravity, all of the floating Pokemon are now going to get healed by the grassy terrain. That's really interesting. I didn't think about that. Okay, so what we're going to do next is I've got one more move on my Comfey to try, and that is Leech Seed. Now, Leech Seed obviously does get the healing effect. It sets up the seeds and they heal Comfey. Is this going to be affected by Triage or not? Let us find out. And in the meantime, again, I'll have to go for the Shadow Sneak. I'll do it on my Comfey this time because Comfey, I only need one more turn to skill swap, and actually I will do that now. I can skill swap away the Triage now because it should work before Triage activates. So let's try this. So you can see there again, Shadow Sneak goes first. So Leech Seed is not affected by the Triage ability. So that's really interesting to see. So we set up the seeds, and you can see this is just what Comfey does though. It just gets all of the recovery, and it's going to heal up with grassy terrain and Leech Seeds. So here's another Present. Is it going to heal or is it going to hurt? that healed. That was a healing present. Very, very kind of you, Delibird, eventually. So what we're going to try next is skill swapping the Triage ability onto the Delibird to see if Present is affected, because Present has a chance to heal. It does damage sometimes, it heals the opponent sometimes. You've seen it's been doing damage to Cresselia, and then that time it actually healed Cresselia. So I want to know if Present is going to be affected by Triage or not. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to actually switch out my Comfey because I don't need it anymore, and I'm going to go for just other moves with other things. So I'm going to go into my, I've got a Tapu Fini here so we can get rid of that terrain. What I'll do now is actually just go for a recover with my Chameleon because I don't need it to do anything else. We'll skill swap Triage onto Delibird, and we will then go for another Present on Cresselia and hope to get a healing one. So this is what I mean by the setup. Now that you can kind of see how this is working with the skill swapping, I will try to just skim over that with editing in the future so that you don't have to see each time, but just to explain how this experiment is working, that's done now. So here we go, we can swap those abilities. Now Delibird has Triage, and we will see if the Present is affected next turn. So here's another Present. Is it healing or hurting? That was a hurty one, a very hurty one. And we're just going to go for a recover here. So this is looking quite interesting. So far it's only been the directly healing move in Synthesis. So we'll see if Delibird's Present is affected. I have a feeling it's not, and that I think that I should maybe just keep going for Present until I get the healing one that I need. This is actually, yeah, let's do this. So I need to go for a Shadow Sneak again, and I guess a Helping Hand and a Recover. So let's see how this works. And I need to, Present on there. So the Present, though the Helping Hand goes first, but I think that does have higher priority actually. That's interesting. And then Nature's, Nature's Madness went before Present. It looks like Present is not working, but I want to, it avoided the attack. I didn't even know that was possible. I want to see a Present work and it be a healing Present, because I don't know if like the priority might be different depending on if it's a healing or a hurting Present. So that's what I want to do. I think, it's not got Hustle because it's got Triage. So I will skip to the part where we see that happen. Okay, so in that turn just there, we saw that Tapu Fini's Nature's Madness went before a healing Present from Delibird. So that just guarantees that Present does not get the Triage ability even when it gets a healing one. So that's that experiment. The next one we're going to try is Aqua Ring. So my Tapu Fini has Aqua Ring, so I'm just going to have to skill swap the Delibird and get that Triage onto my Tapu Fini, and then we'll see if Aqua Ring works. Okay, so now Tapu Fini has the Triage ability. I'm going to go for Aqua Ring with that. I'll go for another Shadow Sneak, and whichever goes first will determine whether Triage is working. So let's do this. Let's go for that Aqua Ring. I'm going to go for another Gravity, because why not? And we'll go for a Shadow Sneak and just knock out this Delibird, because that will let me bring something else in, and that is what we're going to do. So let's see. So Shadow Sneak actually goes first, and that means that my Tapu Fini with Triage, it does not get the priority for Aqua Ring. So that's another interesting experiment that we've done there. Again, I could have actually just skill swapped that turn, it would have saved a bit of turn. But yeah, you can see the Aqua Ring actually goes after everything. It doesn't have any priority, so Triage does not work with Aqua Ring. So I will set up the next experiment now. Okay, so now my Fuzzbuns, the Ribombee, has got that triage ability, and it's got a really interesting move called Pollen Puff. Pollen Puff is a damaging bug move. It's relatively powerful actually, but when used on an ally in a double battle, it actually heals them. So I'm going to see if the healing effect of Pollen Puff gets that triage boost. So I'll go for a Shadow Sneak on my Persian here, and just go for that Pollen Puff on Kecleon. So we'll see if the triage ability kicks in right now, and I guess with so I'll just go for some moves here. I'm going to fake out my own Damoon, and it doesn't matter what I go for here because it's going to fail. Actually, no, it's not. This is going to be cool as well. So I'm going to go for a fake out on my Cresselia. Cresselia actually has Shield Dust now, so that's not going to work. So I'll be able to get the skill swap off to get Triage back. But you can see that Pollen Puff went behind Shadow Sneak there. So again, Pollen Puff is not affected by Triage. So Triage, it looks like it's quite limited and only a few moves are affected by it. So we can take that Triage back, and I'll just set up the next experiment. Okay, so now Pyukumuku has the triage ability, and the move that I'm going to use with Pyukumuku is its signature move, Purify. What this does is heals a status condition of the opponent. Now we've seen aromatherapy didn't work because it heals status conditions. However, Purify, if it does heal a status condition, it does directly heal the user 25% of their HP, I think it is. So that means that it does have like a directly healing effect for the user if it works. We're going to see if that means that it's affected by the triage ability. So what I'm going to do right now is just go for a gravity, and we'll go for a not an aromatherapy, we'll go for synthesis, I guess. And we'll go for a purify with my Pyukumuku onto the Comfey, and then we have to go for a Shadow Sneak or a Sucker Punch with my Kecleon. I'll just do that into Pyukumuku. So the Purify goes first. So there you go. Purify does count for triage. So that's a success. That's probably the first one that we didn't already know that works. That's really cool. Okay, so Purify is affected. I wouldn't have anticipated that actually. Yeah, I wasn't sure because it's definitely, its primary effect is healing the status, and then if it works, it gets some healing, it gets some HP recovery for Pyukumuku itself. So that's really interesting. Okay, so we have learned something in this video. It's been quite demoralizing so far, but we've learned something. So let me just get that skill swap back off Pyukumuku and set up the next experiment. Okay, so now Ditto has the triage ability. Now Ditto obviously only knows transform, so why am I testing this? What healing moves does it get? Well, actually, Z transform, the Z move, means that Ditto actually heals its HP. That is the Z power of transform. So let's see if then transform gets priority when it's got the triage ability. So let's try this out. I'm going to do some tricksy stuff so that I don't lose triage from the field once it transforms. But yeah, let's try this. Let's try it out. I'm going to go for an Ice Beam onto the Ditto with my Cresselia. And let's Shadow Sneak as always, because we need to see what is quickest. And then we're going to go for this Z transform. Okay, so let's transform into the Ordino. So I'm going to switch this out so that my Ditto then transforms into the thingy, so that we've got lots of triage users on the field and skill swapping is easier. So we see that the Shadow Sneak goes first, the Z move is not going first. I think that kind of makes sense because If Triage were to work, it would work off the base moves rather than the Z power. So you see that Ditto's lost some health there. We're going for the Z transform. You'll be able to see what that does if you don't already know, but I have just said it heals the HP. So you see Spodge restored its HP using its Z power, but that was not affected by Triage, even though it's directly healing this Pokemon. So there you go. And we've got one more experiment to try. I will set that up right now. Okay, so now Ordino has the Triage ability, and the last move that I'm going to test is going to be Healing Wish. Now, Healing Wish does cause direct HP restoration, but not on the Pokemon using it, on the incoming Pokemon. So what Healing Wish does is you lose all your HP, but the next Pokemon you send in gets all their HP back and any statuses healed too. So it can be a really interesting move to use. I'm going to see if Triage affects it. So what we're going to do is go straight for that Healing Wish, and we're gonna go for a Gravity for no other reason, but just because it doesn't do anything. We're gonna go for a Shadow Sneak with my Kecleon, again just to test that speed, and I guess we'll just go for a Synthesis with this thing. So Healing Wish goes first. So Healing Wish is also affected by Triage. That is really interesting. So yeah, that is really interesting. I have to say, there were some moves that I thought would be affected by Triage weren't, and some that were affected by it I didn't predict. I didn't know. I just couldn't tell which ones were and weren't going to be. Those are all the moves that I'm going to test today. I think that's quite a good list as it is, and I think that hopefully that should answer most of your questions. But there are more healing moves out there. I just didn't feel the need to do them because I felt they were quite obvious. So any directly healing moves like Synthesis, Roost, Recover, etc., those would probably work. There's the Healing Wish. You can see it healing up my incoming Comfey. All of its HP comes back. So yeah, all of those I would have thought would work. Also Wish, and anything like Heal Pulse or Floral Healing, which is one of Comfey's moves that directly heal one of your allies, I think it's quite obvious that those would work. But the ones we tested today, there was definitely a big question mark, and only Purify and Healing Wish actually worked out the ones we tested. The ones that sometimes damage and sometimes heal, like Pollen Puff and Present, did not work. Aqua Ring didn't even work. I really thought that Aqua Ring might work, but it didn't. Leech Seed didn't work. Grassy Surge didn't work. And the Z move definitely didn't work. So yeah, that was an interesting rundown. I felt like we learned a lot today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comment section if anything took you by surprise, if you thought anything would work that didn't, or anything that didn't work would work. Yeah, just let me know. All this actually said is I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.